Que pasa YouTube? SixftHax here for you guys today. The first team builder for BBL Season 3. Now, as you can see on the screen, I am going to do the graphics for the team builders this season, but that's only if you guys really do want to see the graphics. So if you do enjoy the graphics, you like this better than just like playing Showdown, then please hit that thumbs up button down below. Also leave a comment letting me know what you think about Primal Groudon, because as you can see, we face one in the first week of the seriously it's the first week of the season, and we have to face a Primal Groudon right off the bat. So if you guys want to see my draft analysis, that will be linked down in the description, as well as a link to all the coaches in this season of the BBL, as well as our opponent, Mr. MattOshea, coach of the Montreal Milotics. I've heard a lot of things about MattOshea. He's definitely a very competent player, and with the right, and I'm sure he is very well aware that Rock Polish Swords Dance, a Primal Groudon, literally just bends my entire draft over. I need to find some way to not let that thing freely set up the +2 speed. Otherwise, the match is basically over. So I don't care about the rest of his team. My main focus in this game is to not let Primal Groudon get to +2 speed by any means necessary. Primal Groudon is such a freaking problem, dude. I have two water types that otherwise would be amazing in this matchup. Unfortunately, the sun is not up the entire game, so not even my Pyroar is going to be able to benefit from that. The fact that it's based like 90 speed, 91 speed, I think, means that it outruns something like my Rotom Mo, which otherwise could bop it with a Gracium Z Leaf Storm. Like Primal Groudon, and I guess Umbreon too. Umbreon is actually really annoying, mainly for the fact that I don't really have a fighting type I could bring. And then Azumarill, if I bring Azumarill, that just invites Primal Groudon to switch in for free. And there's not really much my Azumarill can do to Primal Groudon, because obviously it resists my Fairy Stab, and you can't use water moves on Primal Groudon because of its abilities. So yeah, Umbreon defensively is really annoying. Offensively, Primal Groudon is annoying. Those two are probably the biggest issues going into this game. Thundurus is manageable. I'm not really too concerned about that. Bronzong, I think, definitely comes, because Bronzong is able to deal with Garchomp and Mega Aerodactyl. Then for his last two mons, I really don't know what he could bring. If I had to bet money on things I wouldn't expect, I don't expect the Volbeat, but it could do certain shenanigans, so I'm not gonna completely count that out. Marini, I don't expect, just because I don't think it would be doing entirely too much in this game. And then Golduck, I really don't expect either, just because its speed tier is really not that good. Offensively, it's really not a problem, and we have two water types that otherwise just completely wall it. Frostlass is actually a little bit annoying. I'm a little concerned about offensive Frostlass, I'm not gonna lie, but I don't think he would want to bring it, mainly for the fact that something like Bulu plus Unburdened Hitmonlee could actually be really, really annoying late game. However, though, we do have a pure Psychic type, a Poison type, and a Fairy type that could try and deal with Hitmonlee. It's still something that could have merit late game. And then Tapu Bulu, I guess, could come. A part of me doesn't expect it, because I almost ran a Zap Sipper Azumarill, mainly just for Bulu, but also like Whirlpool to potentially try and trap stuff. But I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what 6 he potentially wants to bring. But I do definitely expect Primal Groudon, Umbreon 100%, Bronzong, and Thundurus like 99%. And then everything else, I don't really know what his other two mons could be. So enough rambling about the team preview. Let's jump into our first team member here. And that is going to be Shiki the Golden Lion, aka Necrozma Duskmane. Now obviously Necrozma Duskmane is an amazing Uber in itself. However, though, the big issue about this is that I don't know what type of move Primal Groudon is going to want to hit me with. There's so many different sets that Groudon can run in this game that it's genuinely hard for me to like try to put any type of berry expecting what move he may want to go for. Like he can go fully specially offensive, which is Fire Blast. He could actually go Mix, now that I think about it. Mix would actually be really terrifying, because he can just have Fire Blast or Overheat and then have Precipice Blade or something. I guess he could run Earth Power if he really wanted to, but Precipice Blade or Earthquake definitely make a lot of sense. Swords Dance, basically Fire Punch, and Precipice Blade with Sword Dance and Rock Polish just kind of murder everything that we could bring. So again, if he's mixed and I have a Shuckleberry and I think, oh, he's going to be physical, so I can live with Precipice Blade. No, he busts out something like Fire Blast Overheat, and then he just roasts me. Or if I run Ockaberry, and he does just turn out to go straight for the Precipice Blade, then I'm screwed either way. So my idea was to try and have Necrozma Duskmane behind a substitute as Primal Groudon comes in, while something like a Double Dance set would be really nice. Another big issue about it too is that he has Umbreon. So the nice thing about being behind a sub, if I am behind a sub at +2, I don't have to worry about taking a foul play from Umbreon. I can also use Bronzong as setup fodder, because unless he's running a whole lot of attack investment, Earthquake should never guarantee break my substitute, so I can always set up a sub, set up to +2, even +4 on Bronzong, and while I may not be doing too much damage to it, eventually I will get to +6 and I will be able to absolutely murder something. So that's my idea behind this set. Obviously, if he does have something like Encore Volbeat, because it does have Prankster, then it can Encore me into sub or Sword Dance, so I need to be careful with that. I can also use Tapu Bulu potentially as setup fodder, which is really great. I can still tank hits from Thundurus, and at full HP I could live a hit from Groudon. It depends on his investment and what move exactly he goes for, but obviously I never want to try and have my Necrozma Duskmane in on a Primal Groudon unless I do have a substitute up. So it's kind of my thought process to hopefully use Bronzong. I definitely expect Bronzong to come, so I want to try and mainly use that for my setup fodder. But if he does bring the Bulu, depending on what Bulu set it is, I could also use that as setup fodder as well, so that could definitely come in very, very handy. This can also set up on Mariani. I think it's pronounced Marini, but I apologize if I flip-flop between the two, because I want to say Mariani, but I think it's pronounced Marini. So yeah, I can also set up on that. Like if he has haze, I guess that could be a little bit annoying, but then we just kind of play around the mind games of hazing or not hazing, and then just kind of go from there. So we are just adamant max attack, so we can do as much damage as possible. We really don't need any speed going into this game, because I don't think he's gonna want to run a very speedy Tapu Bulu if he were to bring it. If he does bring it, I expect it to be adamant max speed if anything, but there's not much merit for him to run max speed on Tapu Bulu, so we are running a little bit of speed creep to ensure outspeeding that if it really comes down to it. And then we just have the rest in our HP investment, because thanks to Prism Armor, we're already taking less damage from super effective hits. But unless we're below like 75%, then Primal Groudon basically murders us. So hopefully we can get up a sub, stay behind a sub, and just smack him around. As much as I would love to put Earthquake on this set, I just don't think I can. Sunsteel Strike plus Earthquake doesn't hit Thundurus, and then if I don't have Sunsteel Strike, then I can hit the Bronzong for much more damage, because I think it does quad resist Photon Geyser, but Sunsteel Strike is only 2 times resisted. And then yeah, so if anything, it's better for me just to kind of have dual stab and hope that I do get up to +2. I don't know, maybe in a rematch we'll change things up, or maybe we just won't play him in playoffs, which is what I'm hoping for. So yeah, moving on to our next team member, we have Kaido, aka Garchomp, running. The idea behind this set is that I can easily get up Stealth Rocks on most of his team. Well, not most of his team, but I can get up Rocks on a potential switch. I can also effectively check Primal Groudon as long as it doesn't boost up the +2 speed. And I was originally going to have Ground EMZ instead of Rock EMZ, but I figured Rock EMZ was a nice little middle ground, because I can still do a lot of damage to the Tapu Bulu. I can still hit Frost Slash on a potential switch in. I can destroy the Volbeat, and I don't think it does more damage than Earthquake to Primal Groudon. I don't remember off the top of my head, but I can do good damage to that, and I can also do a really good chunk of damage to the Umbreon. Crunch, of course, is really only there for Bronzong. I kind of maybe should have gone with a different set. Rock EMZ Stone Edge should basically smack something once Bronzong is gone and Umbreon is weakened, and then from there, hopefully Garchomp can definitely put in a lot of work in this game. I think we are running enough speed for Golbat, if I'm not mistaken. I want to say it's enough speed for Golbat or Primal Groudon. I think Golbat's base 95 or base 90, and I know Groudon's like base 90. Yeah, right? Yeah, like base 90. So it's enough speed to outspeed one of those two, because we're going to get outsped by Froslass and Thundurus regardless. So Edgequake hits everything. Crunch is there for the Bronzong, which is the only real thing that can deal with our Edgequake coverage. So yeah, not too much to say there. Max attack just for damage, rest and HP, so we can try to take hits. Our next team member here is going to be a very interesting Mega Arrow set. Originally, I was going to run with just max attack adamant just to do as much damage as possible, but the more I looked at it and the more I thought about it, there's not really much damage that Aerodactyl could do with max attack. At least by having a more defensive spread, this could give me some type of answer to Umbreon, because if I'm able to weaken Umbreon and then taunt it and stop it from just recovering up, I will be able to pressure it. If it's not inner focus, which I could see it not being inner focus, because if you look at our team, we don't really have any moves that flinch, and I would probably run Liquidation over Waterfall and Azumarill anyways. So he could definitely be something like Synchronized, which if he is Synchronized, then after taunting him, we have a chance of going for the Rock Slide flinches to just try and wear him down. Obviously, we're not doing entirely too much damage, but it's still better than nothing. Taunt is there to also stop the Primal Groudon from potentially trying to set up against us, because Earthquake unfortunately does not do entirely too much damage. Even if we were adamant max attack, we're not doing enough damage to the point where it won't just stop him from setting up. So by having Taunt, we can at least prevent Primal Groudon from getting to +2 speed, and then trying to chip him down a little bit with our Earthquake to hopefully weaken him in range, or weaken him to put him in range of where we can revenge kill him with something else. We have enough speed to outspeed the entirety of his team, besides Unburdened boosted Hitmonlee, which unless I was Scarfed, I don't think I outsped it anyways. So we are outsped by certain Scarfers, but I'm not too concerned about them. So hopefully this can at least just try and weaken Umbreon. Like, I think Foul Play is about a 3-8 KO. So if I have to trade this to weaken the Umbreon, I don't think that would be the worst thing ever for me, just because as soon as I get rid of Umbreon, then that's one less answer to my Necrozma, and then that's one less very bulky nuisance going into this game. So yeah, hoping that Mega Arrow here can do a lot of work in week 1. Our next team member is going to be Jimbei, aka Quillfish. I know it's a little bit odd that I am bringing one of our water types when he does clearly have a Primal Groudon, but the thing about this matchup is that if he doesn't bring Hitmonlee and he doesn't have Defog on Thundurus, which if he has Defog on Thundurus, that means it's not a setup Thundurus, which makes it a whole lot less threatening. If it is set up, I guess it's a little bit annoying, but I'd rather see setup than defog Thundurus, because my hope is that when I don't see Marini on the screen, because honestly, there's like no merit to bring Marini to this game. I don't know why you would want to bring it. So much of my team absolutely destroys it, so I really don't expect it whatsoever, if I'm being honest. And that means that I can immediately try to get up my Toxic Spikes. If I get up my T-Spikes, Umbreon is way less of a problem. I don't know if he would want to run Heal Bell on it or not, but if he doesn't have Heal Bell and I'm able to Toxic it with T-Spikes, that would be amazing. T-Spikes would also really help me against the Primal Groudon, because it's going to come in, it's going to be taking that chip damage every single turn. Every single time it takes that chip damage, it's closer and closer in range of where something on my team can revenge kill it. Spikes also are going to be amazing because I get up damage on both of those two Mons and the rest of his grounded Pokemon as well. Poison Jab and Liquidation basically hit everything, and if I need to, I can Poison Jab Primal Groudon and hopefully try and fish for a poison with that. Intimidate is going to be amazing because I can put the Primal Groudon at -1 attack if he is more of a physically orientated version, and this also helps to try and check a Tapu Bulu, which I don't think he would bring a choice Tapu Bulu, because if he locks himself into a grass move, then that would just allow me to bring in my Necrozma to set up, and I'm pretty sure he doesn't want to give me free setup opportunities with my Necrozma, because late game it can definitely win me the match. So I don't expect Banded Bulu, I don't expect Scarf Bulu. It could be Z-Move Bulu, which is a little bit scary, I guess, but if it's Z-Move Bulu, that means he's not Z-Move Thundurus, which is also really good for me in general. So yeah, I figured that if anything, I can use this to pivot around, get up my spikes hopefully, and just wear things down with Rocky Helmet T-spikes, the occasional liquidation and poison jab here and there. We are running enough speed to outspeed an adamant Tapu Bulu, if I'm not mistaken though, so in case he does want to run like max speed on that, the highest he can go is 126 on an adamant nature. Again, there's not really much merit for him to run Jolly in this matchup unless he was scarfed, which I don't think he's going to be scarfed, so I'm not too concerned about that. And then we just have the rest of our investment into our defense and our HP. So moving on to our next team member here, we have Nami, aka Alolan Persian, and I realized that I messed up on my EV spread here. I should have an even amount of HP instead of an odd amount of HP. And I'm gonna be completely honest with you guys, I had no idea what item to even run on my Alolan Persian. I thought about leftovers, but I was like, it's not really gonna be that helpful, honestly, in the long run. So I figured if I'm going to be using this Persian to try and pivot alongside my Quillfish, then it might be more beneficial for me to have a 50% berry, because if needed, I can take a huge hit, recover back up 50% of my health, potentially get a KO or get off the parting shot and go from there. So knockoff, foul play, and gunk shot hit just about everything. I really wanted to have taunt on this set, but obviously I can only choose 4 moves, and I don't want to pass up on parting shot. I don't want to pass up on knockoff either. Getting rid of items is just way too beneficial. Foul play does a really good chunk of damage to the Thundurus and the Primal Groudon. I think it does like 30, almost 40% to Groudon, depending on his investment and if he's a minus defense nature or not. It does like 50% to Thundurus, which is absolutely insane. And then Gunk Shot is there, so I can absolutely just murder the Tapu Bulu if he were to bring it. If anything, I guess I could maybe take off Foul Play and put Taunt on it, but then I feel like Thundurus becomes a bit more of an issue, and I am running enough speed to outspeed Thundurus, so I want to just try and prevent that thing from being as much of a problem as it could be. And if it's Z move, knockoff is doing nothing, and then Gunk Shot, even though it is base like 110, I think 120, it's base 120, it's not doing enough damage because it's not stabbed. So foul play, I think I need to keep foul play. If anything, I still do good damage to Primal Groudon. If I'm able just to get up my hazards, then getting off the damage on Primal Groudon is going to be amazing. So yeah, I'm fine with having no taunt on the set, because if my hazards are up, I'm okay against Primal Groudon. I can still deal with the Bulu, I can still deal with the Thundurus, I can deal with the Frostlass. I guess Frostlass gets smacked around by this set. Gunk Shot could also be nice to fish for poisons if I really want to try and do that. And yeah, so we just have almost max HP, enough speed for Thundurus, the last 36 into special defense, because we already have Fur Coat doubling our physical defense, so why not have a little bit in SP.DEF so we can take special hits potentially slightly better. So yeah, Alolan Persian does have a pretty good matchup here, hoping that it does pull its weight in its debut. I've never got to use Alolan Persian in a regular league, although I guess this is not technically a regular league, it's an Ubers league, but you get what I'm trying to say. So moving on to our final team member here, I really had no idea what to run as our final team member, but ultimately I decided on Rotom Mow here. The nice thing about Rotom Mow is that even though I'm not a Z move Rotom Mow, I can still do pretty good damage to the Primal Groudon if I'm not lowered on my special attack. I could have maybe gone Gracium Z, but Leftovers is so nice because this is also kind of my pivot into the Thundurus. So if I'm able to get on my rocks after that, then I don't really need to have any move to hit it super effectively. Thunderbolt is doing enough damage, and Volt Switch is also going to be nice for gaining us momentum. Obviously, I need to be very careful how I play this Rotom Mow, because if I do leave Storm blindly, at -2, in comes Primal Groudon, and that thing is a giant issue, because then from there it could potentially set up on me. So hopefully I can, again, just try to get up my T-Spikes, my Spikes, even Stealth Rocks would be amazing in this game, and then that way Primal Groudon won't be as big of an issue. Toxic is literally only there for the Umbreon, because if I'm not able to Toxic the Umbreon, then there's no other real way I can do too much damage to it. So I need to be very weary on how I'm pivoting in and out with this Rotom Mow, because I needed to do so much in just a little package, man. Like, Rotom Mow does have a lot of pressure on it in this game. I really wanted to have something like dual screens maybe, but I really felt like that was not going to be ultimately worth it, so I figured 3 attacks Toxic might be the better route I could go. I could swap Thunderbolt for something else, but it's not that big of an issue. Enough speed for Tapu Bulu just in case I need to outspeed it if I do lose my other manners of trying to deal with it. Mixed defensive is just really nice, so we can take hits physically and especially. I guess Papa Berry also would have been nice on this set, but leftovers is not entirely too bad, I think. And then we just have 4 in our special attack with a calm nature to make us a bit more mixed defensive. So yeah, this is probably the one set I'm really iffy on, but in theory it can work. In practice, we'll just have to see. So yeah, guys, that is going to be our squad here for week 1 of the BBL. The match will be going up tomorrow around noon Eastern time, if I'm not mistaken. And again, if you do want to see the graphics here for the rest of our season for the team builders, then hit that thumbs up button down below. Let me know what you think about Primal Groudon in the Ubers League here, because boy, oh boy, if this rock polishes, we just lose. So hopefully I can avoid that. Hopefully we can get up our hazards and we just don't get absolutely murdered. So yeah, I will see you all tomorrow. Later, everybody.